Some rap songs get a little bit too much hate for what they are. I've talked about it before, and today while I'm working on my next big project style of video, I'm gonna talk about it again. Pretty much all the songs I'm talking about here are well known, so they are popular tracks in that sense. But if I've seen a lot of hate or dislike in general discussions of these songs, then they're gonna be eligible for this video. Overhated is a bit of a subjective term because it just really depends on where you look, so keep that in mind while watching this video as well. And right before we get started, I want to say thank you to Wondershare Filmora for sponsoring today's video. If you're not familiar with it already, Filmora is a great piece of editing software whether you're experienced or just getting started with creating long form or short form content. It has a wide range of features to make any editing process as efficient as possible. And for illustrative purposes here, what I'll be doing is taking one of my existing long form videos and easily making short form clips out of it using Filmora's Smart Short Clips feature. Click on the Smart Short Clips button, and then from here, I'll select one of my videos that I think has good potential for short form clips. For this one right here, I'm going to be using my recent video on rap lyrics that make no sense. I think that's a video that lends itself pretty well to short form clips. I think it's a pretty entertaining one. It just seems like that'll work really nicely. I'll drag the file for the video into Filmora, and I could also use the YouTube link here. Keep in mind that you could use the YouTube link for any existing video on the platform to do this. Select the video language, the duration that I'd like the clips to be, and then pick from some templates here to make everything super easy to put together. Click generate, and then all you have to do from that point is wait for Filmora to work its magic. Once it's done, you'll have a selection of the clips that it's picked from the video ranked in order of viral potential. You can scroll through them, find the ones that you like the most, and you can either export them as is if you're happy with how they look, or you can click the edit button. And from here, you can customize everything to your heart's content. You can change anything that you think needs to be changed, and you can fix any minor errors that there might be in the generated subtitles. As you can see, it already has captions attached to the short, there's some sound effects added to it. It just makes the whole process a million times faster. Once you're satisfied, you can export the video immediately to any social media or save it locally to your PC. And there we go. That's how easy it can be to create shorts from existing videos with Filmora. So if you'd like to try it out and get started creating effortlessly today, click my link that's down in the description below and you can give it a shot. Much love to Wondershare for sponsoring today's video. So with that being said, let's get started with it.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows, I skated and they froze.
Listen. It's not that bad. Before I heard it, I saw everyone talking about this song like it was the worst thing ever made, and that KSI should retire permanently for even considering making it. And even after being made to listen to this song 151 times in a row, mostly by KSI himself, I'm sorry. I still don't think it's trash. It's a very acceptably decent song. A user score of 18 out of 100 on Album of the Year and like 2 million dislikes here on YouTube is overkill. The production is energetic enough, KSI's hook is catchy, and I will never forget from the screen to the ring to the pen to the king. Bars right there, man. Sure, the writing is extremely basic, but in a pop rap hit kind of way, and it honestly does stick a little bit.
I went from living room straight out to sold out doors. Life's fire, but once I'm ready for the war.
Trippy Red is just fine on it. Everything about this song is alright. It doesn't go past being alright, but I don't think it's anywhere near one of the worst songs released last year. KSI definitely played into the hate for this one a lot as a way to market the song, so either way in the end it worked out for him, but I do think this one fits into the overhated category pretty nicely for me.
And here's another hit, Baby Bonds.
Now, I only came around to this one pretty recently, and funnily enough, this actually also involved another live stream of mine. During one of my paid request streams, which I do every week by the way, you can send me absolutely anything on there, I was sent this track so that I could listen to it outside of the context of graduation, just focusing on this track itself. And you know what? This one's actually pretty good. I was in the same camp as a lot of people before I re-listened to this song, where I considered Drunken Hot Girls and Barry Bonds to be the only two real skips on Graduation. Like, it's not just me, this song is very commonly labeled as a skip. But now, for me, Drunken Hot Girls stands alone. The beat sounds simpler than a lot of stuff on Graduation, and Wayne's verse on it isn't necessarily the best that he had around this era.
And I don't practice, and I don't lack shit, and you can get married. Suck my back, bitch.
But he's still solid on it, and Kanye has a couple of verses that display that brash confidence of his with a lot of entertaining bars.
I don't need right tears, I might bounce ideas, but only I could come up with some shit like this. They say going crazy, and we seen this before, but I'm doing pretty good as far as geniuses go. I'm insulted, you should go ahead and bow so hard till your knees hit your forehead.
Maybe it's a little less liked because on the album, it follows one of Kanye's best songs, Can't Tell Me Nothing, but listening to it on its own, it's a pretty fun track with 3 slick verses.
I'm not racist, but there's 2 sides to every story. I wish that I knew yours.
Now this one's interesting because this one I think is a song that is overhated depending on where you look. Obviously here on YouTube, it was a massive song, pretty much all the comments are supporting it, it's got a ton of likes, all that good stuff. But then, if you turn to audience review websites, a score of 48 out of 100 on Album of the Year, and a 1.7 out of 5 on Rate Your Music. And I do get it, with a song like this, it's gonna be a little bit divisive, and open up a conversation about if it actually tackles its subject matter well. But the most baffling negative reviews I saw for this song were ones that label it as a both sides bad track. I don't really see it that way at all. Maybe I did before, I can't remember, but that was before my prefrontal cortex was developed. The white dude in the song is clearly the instigator and the one saying the most overtly offensive things. In terms of the structure, I think it's very purposeful that he has the first perspective, the first verse on the track, because it shows him immediately unloading on the black guy at the other end of the table, despite the fact that he hasn't said a single word yet. We don't see these two guys walking into the room and sitting down. We don't see them introducing themselves to each other. It just starts, boom, this white guy is saying some crazy shit despite the fact the guy on the other side of the table has not opened his mouth yet. Everything that he says about the guy across the table from him is a negative assumption based on stereotypes.
But you lazy as fuck, and you rather sell drugs and get a job and be straight, and then you turn around and complain about the poverty rate. Fuck out of my face!
When we get around to the second verse on the song, which is from the black guy's perspective, everything that he says is just a response to the aggression and the racism of the white guy.
With all disrespect, I don't really like you white motherfuckers, that's just where I'm at. Screaming all lives matter is a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that? And all you care about is money and power and being ugly, and that's the cracking within you. Hatred all in your brain and slowly start to convince you.
It's just a response to the energy that the white guy gave to him, making the white guy realize that he should perhaps hear out people first and have a little bit more empathy and not base everything on his ignorant views. Now, yeah, maybe a little bit too much of a Hollywood happy ending on this one. I think that's a completely fair criticism of it, but in a 6-minute song, you're not really gonna be able to dive into all of the nuance of racism in America. It's not necessarily saying, oh, it's that easy. Personally, I think it's a well-crafted song designed to be heard along with the music video, and the minimalistic production of it works for me with Joyner's precise control over the intensity of his vocals. Sure, if you find the song cringy and think that the hug it out ending oversimplifies things a little bit, I completely get it. I'm not the biggest fan of the ending either, but some of the hate that I've seen for this track, I think just comes from not really getting what it's going for. It's a solid Joyner track if you ask me.
This ain't even close to what I thought I would be doing. Don't get me wrong, I was born to be big, but I always figured it would be the comedy thing.
Now look, kind of like the last one, this track is only really hated in one specific place. albumoftheyear.org. Now look, I know I'm basically cheating with this one because that's a very niche area to be basing the term overhated on, especially with only about 30 user reviews, but the average user score of 27 out of 100 for this track is so absurd that I had to talk about it regardless of the nicheness of the community. And if I want to back it up a little further, it also got a 1.71 out of 5 on Rate Your Music. And I can't help but feel that a lot of this comes from the fact that Lil Dicky's music isn't very good at the moment, so people feel obligated to say that everything he's ever made is trash. But Russell Westbrook on a Farm is legit one of his best, most well-written tracks, and I don't think I've read a single negative review for the song that actually talks about what is wrong with the track itself. It's just, Lil Dicky bad. It's a remix of Drake's track Pound Cake, and while some sections might get a little bit overly wordy just for the sake of fitting some more rhymes in there, I still think it's mostly very smooth.
Cause even though I'm softer than the tissue, I ain't nothing to sneeze at. I'm smarter, where the fuck your degrees at? And I ain't harder, but I'm hotter, homie, where the fuck your degrees at?
And has this great analogy where Dicky imagines what if Russell Westbrook was a farmer, and he thought that was all he was gonna do for the rest of his life, before he accidentally stumbled across the game of basketball, started playing a little bit, fell in love with it, and decided that was what he was gonna passionately pursue from that point on, despite the fact that he never really considered it before.
Just imagine for a second, what if Russell Westbrook never knew his own mentality? Grew up on a farm, and then discovered the court. He like, yeah, let me down, Tim. Hopped off, looking puzzled at the round rim. Then he shot a brick and then a brick and then he downed it. And when he hit it, Russell listened to the fucking sound frick. Shouldn't have been a swish make, and he was confounded. And they flying Russell down to compete in the gym. Bunch of grown men looking to belittle the kid, because to those men, ball was the reason to live. And then the game started and this motherfucker take charge, make it rain hard, D up on these bitches making children of men.
Which of course serves as a metaphor for Dicky's journey into the rap game, being a detour from his ambitions to succeed in the comedy lane. I just think it's really well written and rapped, and a lot of the hate for it is super forced, just because people don't really like Lil Dicky now. Also, I'm on season 3 of Dave. I know I mentioned I hadn't seen it in my worst albums of the year video, but I'm on season 3 now. Great show. Would definitely recommend you check it out. Season 3 has some of the best episodes of it, and yeah, it's very good.
They say success is the best revenge. I just came back for the win.
I don't care what anyone says. This one's a banger. Within Joy's fanbase, I feel like this one is generally looked at as a very underwhelming single, and I can see why a little bit, to be fair. This was the first solo single that he had released in 5 years. And it's a triumphant brag rap song that sounds tailor-made for a Madden or 2K soundtrack. In fact, it was literally in the Madden 23 soundtrack. I still think it works, despite being a far cry from the thoughtful boom bap style that made Joy so popular in the first place. The production goes pretty damn hard, even though a lot of people compared it negatively to J. Cole's Middle Child. And Middle Child is good, but I think this track has a slightly different, more fired up energy to it, which I appreciate. And the chorus is pretty simple, but easily memorable and repeatable. I think Joy sounds smooth as hell on it. The song slaps. I like it for what it is. I could see why it never made it to a Joy album, but as a promotional single, it's cool.
I never read it, but got understatements. Start wearing capital cause it got basic. I still wear capital, ooh, stop faking.
This song is fucking ridiculous, but I think that's why I like it. I've got a Republican doctor. Make my ass great again, MAGA. That might just be the most hilarious thing that Nicki Minaj has ever said. This shit samples the I'm Blue song. Uzi comes into it, shriek singing their heart out.
I got a Chinese girl, yeah, she from Shanghai. She goes to Parsons in New York.
Nicki switches her flow so often that it almost feels chaotic and messy.
That spirit to Chanel, they ain't nothing to see. Bitches on TV channeling me, don't see any. Sitting under stars in the city. filled with Carla girl. Now it's heaven campaign. R.I.P. My niggas are blue like Virgil. I got that duffel. Everything we do, you motherfuckers do it too.
And I can see why people call it ass, but it's so over the top that it just works for me. Sometimes you just need a track that does a bit too much. Combined with the fact that I enjoy the production from Bugs Ronan and Ike Beats quite a bit, I can't hate on this one. The drums slap, and sometimes a silly upbeat song is all you need. Hell, give me this over most of the tracks on Eternal Take 2 any day. Now, of course, I'd be hard-pressed to label this as a good song, but people have asked me before why I don't have this listed as one of my least favorite tracks from Vultures 2, and the answer is pretty simply because I don't think it's one of the worst ones on there. Again, would I say this is really good? Definitely not. But I think the beat is actually solid, and if you take this one from the angle of a musician father just goofing around with his kids and making a silly track out of it, it's one of the more kind of wholesome things that Kanye West has done recently. And believe me, there's not many examples of that lately.
And you know me, I'm the bomb, 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 bomb. I'm the bomb.
Add on the stupidly catchy You Know Miles verse that was added on an updated version of the track, and it's honestly a pretty entertaining song in a very silly way. You Know Miles legit makes the track better for me. I wasn't expecting it, but I like it.
Put some hot sauce on my Doritos, baby. Put some hot sauce on my Cheetos, baby. My grandma fat, she ain't got no ankles. They say I'm going up like a bomb. I'm about to blow up just like a bomb.
I have not been able to stop repeating, I'm about to blow up just like a bomb. And put some hot sauce on my Doritos, baby. That's magic right there, bro. You can't deny it. And now lastly in this video, I want to do something a little bit different that I haven't done before. I want to take a look at the suggestions that my Discord community gave me for this video to see if I agree with them or not. Discord.gg/CDTV if you want me to call your takes good or bad in the future. So the first suggestion we got in here was from Dr. Classified saying GNX is one of the most overhated tracks by Kendrick Lamar. This is one that I could completely see the argument for it being overhated. I wouldn't say that I necessarily agree personally, just because I'm not the biggest fan of the track. I do think it is the weakest on GNX, but a fair pick. We'll say it's a fair pick, Dr. Classified. Shout out to Space Ashes. Space Ashes saying every Pitbull song because he's the GOAT and people don't know what they're talking about. That's real. Dale. Cyan Crown right here with Tootsie Slide. Unfortunately, you won't agree. You're absolutely right, buddy. That song is garbage. Aurora says Cherry Bomb by Tyler, the Creator. You could probably pick a few Cherry Bomb songs for a list like this. I wouldn't go for the title track, but fair enough. For the Trap by 645AR, Garfield Lover 666 says, yeah, you know what? It's catchy. It is kind of memorable, and you can't get it out of your head after the first time that you hear it, so also, not a bad pick right here. Bag Season by French Montana featuring Lil TJ. Yeah, it does have that standard sort of French Montana effect of lacking a little bit of charisma, but the beat is pretty hard, and again, it has its catchiness to it. Henry Flores 10 says Golden Hour, you know, technically not a rap song, but I do think it's a pretty good track. Cyan Crown is saying The End by Lil Uzi Vert featuring Baby Metal. An actually interesting song that people claim is horrible. You know what? I can agree with that one. I think The End is fun, energetic. The la 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 la. That bit's catchy. I think it's cool. It's a little experimental track. Elena also says CS Chop Suey by Lil Uzi Vert. My controversial take on this one probably is that I don't like the original track by System of a Down, but that's just because I haven't been able to get into their music. People have sent me some of their stuff on my paid request streams, and Serge's, you know, often theatrical delivery just doesn't really click with me that well. So I actually don't think Uzi's cover of it is all that bad, because obviously Uzi has a less sort of theatrical style of delivery and voice. So yeah, CS is not that bad to me. Meet Your Padre by Party Next Door and Drake. I haven't heard it yet, so all I'm gonna say right now is no comment, but those reactions to this one, these laughing crying emotes, I think they say more than I can, alright? Alvin is saying Baby Keem, Pink Panties. This is a song that I've talked about being ruined by the hook, and I still stand by it, Alvin, okay? Doja by Central C. Honestly, how can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay is an iconic opening line, and the rest of the song slaps too. Yeah, I agree with you there on Doja. It's a fun track. The sample is great, and I think opening up with that line is actually a solid attention-grabbing way to start. I don't think it's like offensive or anything like that. It's just a silly line. Canal has a bunch of recommendations here, saying Way Too Sexy by Drake. Gotta disagree with that. I think that song is rightfully hated. Fried by Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign. I hate that song, so I'm not gonna agree with that one, but Canal saying it gets them hyped, so fair enough. I don't know why, because it's not that good. Okay, yeah, fair. Slox is saying, please, Hot Shower, Chance the Rapper. It is literally the only fun song on that entire album. That I would disagree with. I think there's some other fun tracks on The Big Day, even if they're far and few between. Yes, I see why Chance fans hated it, but the song is actually good, stupid fun. I think The Baby is the best part of that track. The rest of it, no sir, not a fan. Sayori is saying Stupid Hole by Nicki Minaj. I remember people hating it when it released, when like even without the context of it being a diss against Lil Kim, it's a pretty fun track, honestly. Yeah, I'm still not a fan of it because it's got one of the most annoying beats in a rap song ever, and I just think the track is the epitome of an annoying rap song, but you know what, fair enough. So those were our Discord entry suggestions. Like I said, if you want to join up and provide future entry suggestions, discord.gg/CDTV. Thank you everybody for watching, and keep an eye out for a much longer big project style of video coming from me in the next week or two. I'm working on it at the moment. It's gonna be a lot of fun, so keep an eye out for that. Before we go, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters and channel members over there, with a special shout out to Henry Flores, I Am Regent, Lucas1123, and Neo Striker.